Is Brian Daboll going to be making a major coaching change heading into the 2025 season for the New York Football Giants? We're going to break that down on today's show. Giants OTAs started this week, and things have been noticed that the guy holding the play sheet may not be the same next year. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. So far through OTAs, Mike Kafka has been the one radioing in the plays to the quarterbacks for this football team. Brian Daboll was the play caller for the Giants this past year. But the year prior to that, it was Mike Kafka. And there's been a lot of talk early on in this offseason about will Brian Daboll look to give up the play calling back to Mike Kafka. Let's go back. Before we go back to what John Mayer said, Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News saying this. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka looks to be radioing in the offensive plays today at the Giants' second OTA practice, which was the first one that was open to the media. Obviously, Brian Daboll called the plays last year for the Giants, but he also called them at OTAs. So he called plays at OTAs last year. He called plays during the regular season. Mike Kafka is now calling plays at OTAs. Will it be Mike Kafka being the one calling the plays in the regular season? Pat Leonard expanding on that, saying this. Kafka called the offensive plays during the Giants' first open practice of the spring on Wednesday, while head coach Brian Daboll oversaw the team and spent targeted time with rookie quarterback Jackson Dart. This was only one voluntary OTA practice. Can't even read. The second of 10 in East Rutherford, New Jersey, prior to New York's 2-day mandatory minicamp in mid-June. But the coach's on-field roles did appear to indicate a shift in operations, aligned more with co-owner John Mayer's articulated preference for how Daboll runs the team. And like Pat Leonard talked about, here's what John Mayer pretty much said to Brian Daboll. Do you really believe it's in your best interest to continue calling the plays? Or are you better off letting someone else call the plays? Remember that? After the season ended, John Mara met the media unprompted at midfield of the Quest Diagnostic Center. And then the Giants spoke to Brian Daboll, and Brian Daboll said, well, I brought that up to him. Where John Mara said, well, I kind of brought it up to him. And it was a game of telephone, and then someone was lying, and then someone was truthing, and I brought it up, you brought it up, Spumoni, who knows. All I know is this. Kafka was the one on the radio at rookie minicamp. That was last month. When Jackson Dart was there, when the rookies were there, the first organized team activity, it was Mike Kafka calling in the plays. Now OTAs is here, and Mike Kafka is still the one calling the plays. Back in April, I believe it was, at the owners' meetings in Florida, Brian Daboll said no decision will be made until the preseason on who calls the plays. But if I connect this dot to this dot and then this dot and this dot, Daboll called plays at OTAs last year. Daboll called plays at rookie minicamp last year. Daboll called the plays. Kafka called the plays at rookie minicamp this year. Kafka called the plays at OTAs this year. Sounds like Kafka's going to call the plays in the regular season this year. Daboll also saying this in April, quote, look, I have confidence in our staff. I have confidence in assistant head coach, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. I have confidence in the offensive guys. Again, what changes will be made? I'm going to go through the offseason and OTAs. Well, so far through the offseason and OTAs, it's been Kafka on the mic. Daboll also saying you're going to see. I know last year you saw me with the microphone holding it, the walkie-talkie. You'll see Mike with the microphone at times this year. We will go through that whole process leading to the preseason game and see where we are. To answer your question, I got to do both jobs better. I like that. Thank you for the openness, and thank you for just kind of telling us. I think it's going to be Mike Kafka. I do. Do I think that's the right decision? I'll expand upon that coming up in a second. I want you to sound off for me. Who do you want to be the one calling the offensive plays this year? Is it Dabes? Is it Kafka? Kafka did it for 1 year, and then a half a year, and then not a half a year. And then Daboll did it for half a year, and then a year. And Shea Tierney was sprinkled in a little bit. Sound off, because this is what I'm trying to say. In 2022, it was obvious Mike Kafka was the guy. Vibes were high. Daniel Jones, career year, $92 million through 15 touchdowns. Giants won a playoff game. Then Mike Kafka started the year as the play caller in 2023. And then they lost 40-0 in the opener against the Cowboys. And then Brian Daboll took back the play calling. And then Daboll gave it back to Kafka. And then Daboll took it away and then gave it to Shea Tierney. And then there was a random person that nobody knows who was calling the plays. 2023 was just a cluster F job. And Daboll said, enough of that. I'm calling the plays in 2024. And as we know, the Giants offense was not really all that good in 2024. Like it just wasn't. In 2023, the New York Giants were not good at all. We know that to be a fact. In 2022, they were decent, but it was really kind of just look over here, I'm going to throw in the flat over here. Look over there, I'm going to dump it down over here. And then this past year, the New York Giants was not good at all on the offensive side of the ball. And really, the area of the field that matters to me and the downs that matter to me are red zone TD rate, third down conversion rate, fourth down conversion rate, and 2-point conversion rate. The red zone rate was the best when Mike Kafka was the play caller. It was actually the worst and the second worst in the NFL when Brian Daboll was the play caller. The Giants' best third down conversion rate was under Mike Kafka. The Giants' best fourth down conversion rate was under Mike Kafka. And their best 2-point conversion rate was under Mike Kafka. I say all that to say I still kind of want Brian Daboll calling the plays because that's why you hired him. That's how he got this job. That's how he made his resume stand out the most to be the best candidate for this job, because that's what he did with the Buffalo Bills, which got him this job. And all the great coaches that are offensive minds in this league, they call plays. Kyle Shanahan, Zach Taylor, Sean Payton, Andy Reid, Shane Steichen, Mike McDaniel, Matt LaFleur, Dave Canales, Sean McVay, Brian Callahan, and many more teams of that. Look, I don't mind Mike Kafka calling plays, but you hired Daboll to identify the next quarterback, develop that next quarterback, and then call the plays for that next quarterback. Let's finish the puzzle. My main question is this. If Mike Kafka is going to be the one that is going to be calling the plays, that means Brian Daboll needs to be a plus in other departments, like game management, like defense, helping on the defense as well, challenging better. He needs to be more of a CEO. And my question is, does Brian Daboll elevate the Giants elsewhere enough to where he can't call plays? I don't know about that. Overall, Daboll, Kafka, red jacket, yellow jacket. If you know the movie, you know what line comes next. Notes, gold jacket, green jacket. I don't know. I think I'm messing it up somewhere. I don't give a shit. That's the next line. Make a choice and stick with it. No tug of war. No you call, I call, we call. Make a choice, stick with it, and ride or die with it. I would like it to be Daboll, but I'm also cool with Kafka. At the end of the day, I just want the best man for the job. And to be honest, I don't know who it is. I think it's Daboll, but I also could be convinced it's Kafka. I don't know. You decide. Pick the play caller in the comments and make sure you are. Follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up, and let's go Big Blue.